So have you ever acted like a completely different person the moment an attractive person walks in? There's actually science that explains why this is. See, your brain doesn't just notice a hot person. It actually shifts modes.
When you are in the presence of a woman you are very attracted to, it triggers you, it arouses you, it surprises you, and it excites you. This actually puts you in a state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It activates your sympathetic nervous system, which in turn activates the woman's unattraction to you. The main reason why an experienced man continues to experience more and more experiences with women is because he isn't triggered, aroused, excited, and surprised by attractive women. He has developed the self-control, the emotional discipline, the sexual discipline to be charming, witty, smooth, and seductive from a parasympathetic state. So he has learned how to arouse the woman without himself being aroused. This is a huge skill, and this separates the high-value men from the men who pretend to be high value. This separates the experienced men from the men who pretend to be experienced. This is something 80% of men simply cannot do. They have not done the work or gained the experience to unlock this skill and ability. And without this skill and ability, a man will continue to simply not be able to win over the types of women he wants to win over, because the man he becomes in the presence of women he is really attracted to is simply an unattractive man.
You become more self-conscious, more performative, more focused on how you're being perceived by others. This is called self-presentation enhancement, and it's completely automatic.
This automatic process is picked up by the woman automatically, and it acts as a deterrent to the woman. She can tell you are aroused, and it signifies to her your lower value. This is why men have their best experiences with women they don't really like, and their worst experiences with the women they really like. It's how nature catches you out. You see, your parasympathetic nervous system will make you jester. It will make you display submissive behaviors. It will make you display performative behaviors. And this is why a woman could like you at first, but then quickly start to gravitate away from you. It is a subconscious communication to the woman that she is out of your league. If you've heard women today talking about, I'm his first baddie, this is what she's referring to. You are triggering hypergamy in all the worst ways. Furthermore, it's not good enough to simply be mean and standoffish to a beautiful woman either, because she can still sense that you are aroused by her, but frustrated by her or irritated by her for no reason. And this also communicates high arousal, but you are simply expressing this through a negative valence. You come across worst acting like this. This is not a good use of nonchalance and indifference, as it actually communicates fear through obnoxiousness and arrogance. This works both ways, fellas. I've always said this in my videos as well. The vast majority of women that I've slept with have been women who are really rude and irritated by my presence for no reason. I learned very, very young that these women fancy me a lot. They are aroused and excited by me, but they're just choosing to project it through a negative valence. As soon as I learned this, it became so easy for me to sleep with these types of women. I was sleeping with these types of women behind buildings, in toilets, immediately, because they were actually really aroused and they were irritated with themselves by just how aroused they were by me. And because they didn't want to communicate how much I excite them, they chose to be rude and disrespectful for no reason. You know, I don't know if you've ever been around a woman who has no problems giving everyone else eye contact but you. That's a woman who she wants to get cracked, fellas.
Here's why. Attractive people signal high social status, and your brain reads high status people as evaluators. So you're not being vain, this is just a primordial function of what your machinery up there.
It is natural, and it is how nature selects who is worthy enough for procreation. It's like a lobster who wins a fight. That lobster will then go on to win his next, 7 fights and be chosen for mating options. But when it loses a fight, it will then go on to lose its next, 7 fights. And he will no longer be chosen for mating options. His nervous system is communicating things to the people around him, and it's affecting his own performance and behaviors. Your successful experiences with women compounds in so many different ways, and your nervous system says 80% about you. The woman will do things to see if she can trigger you and arouse you. Even her appearance alone is a Venus flytrap, and if you are ensnared by her, then you lose, then you are disqualified. The trick is to show sexual attraction to her without being excited and aroused. This will compel her to excite you and arouse you. I'll say that again. This will compel the woman to excite you and arouse you. And when she is unable to do so, she will go through great lengths to try and excite you and arouse you. This is what we call seduction. So many of these things happen unconsciously, subconsciously. As human beings, it's very hard to win over the person we like, because when we really like somebody, we become very submissive to that person. So in order to win over the person you like, you must be able to provide them with the experience they want, but do this from a place where your arousal is inhibited. Very hard, or basically impossible, for an incel to do. Very easy for a successful player to do. Game, and the importance of game, is that game can cover these aspects up, and this is what I teach. If you don't have the nervous system or the ego to be able to do these things naturally through, as I said, skill and experience, through inner work and ability, then game can cover these things up whilst you go on to actually work on these skills and abilities and continue to expose yourself to more women, which will then naturally give you this skill and ability. Nothing will compare to simply having exposure to women, being friends with women, being around attractive women, sleeping with attractive women. It basically desensitizes you to all of the arousing elements of the woman, but in a good way, not in a bad way, like watching a lot of corn.
The one upside, though, is that this response actually sharpens your focus. People perform better on tasks when an attractive person is present. Your brain is subtly trying to impress them, and trying harder isn't always a bad thing. So the next time you need to get something done, just have somebody really hot stand next to you.
Okay, so as he said at the end, the only way this is good for you as a man is if you're at work and there's an attractive woman around you. If you are at the gym and there is an attractive woman around you. But if you're trying to do a romantic one-on-one thing with a woman, this is not going to be good. The woman is actually unattracted by that extra degree of psychological effort you're putting into things. Thinking about what you've got to say, trying to come across in the right way, being easily offended, showing insecurity, showing an attachment to the outcome, being dependent on her reaction. You're just putting her on the pedestal and you're triggering her hypergamy. I said in my recent videos, even showing fear communicates to the woman that you're pedestalizing her. You're triggering her hypergamy in the wrong ways, in all of the worst ways. Remember, as I said in my videos, you know I'm the best at this in the entire internet, right? And you guys watch out as well, because I'm seeing a lot of people. I'm seeing my concepts, my very unique and original concepts being out there. So you guys know where it came from first. As I said, to a woman, you are a 10 in a different type of a way. When a woman sees value in you, but she doesn't know you. So when a woman feels, remember, women feel, they're not thinkers, they're feelers. All right. So when a woman feels your presence, your masculine presence, value, even intimidation, unpredictability, whatever, when she sees value in you, but she doesn't know who you are, she pretty much sees you as a 9 or a 10. It's not about the objective truth of who you are. It's more so about her feeling, how she's experiencing you, right? Not knowing who you are, but seeing value in you, all of this stuff like that. It's just a degree of arousal. You're definitely going to be a 10 to the woman as well if you trigger her taboo, the taboo within the woman, which is where the woman sees you as somebody she shouldn't be attracted to. That's at the height of her arousal when it comes to men. That's what a 10 is. And judging by your nervous system, your ego, how you act and react to her and whatever she's observed and your character, When she finds out this information about you, you're going to start to plummet. The more and more she knows about you, you go from a 10 to a 9 to an 8 to a 7 to a 6 to a 5 to a 4 until you're not attractive anymore. Until you are ugly within the woman's experience, within the woman's subjective, solipsistic experience. So you guys really need to understand... What was I talking about? So you guys really need to understand how your nervous system is already communicating where you stand. You simply, your blood rate rising, you showing shyness and nervousness and inhibition and apprehension. You're plummeting. You're communicating to the woman that you're of lower value than she is. That's what's more important. You're communicating to her that you're of lower value than she is, because the woman knows what it's like to be in the presence of a man where she's doing these things to the man and the man isn't. The man is in his inhibited parasympathetic nervous system. That's the key. And as I said to you, you need to be able to... You guys can completely change your life and your fortune with women if you simply apply all of the things that you know, all the elements of game and seduction that you know, but just from your inhibited parasympathetic nervous system. Just do it from there. Don't be aroused. You got to look at it like a game. I've always looked at it as a game. When I'm dealing with women, I'm smooth, I'm seducing them, I'm showing sexual attraction, I'm touching them, I'm flirting them, I'm teasing, I'm tricking them, I'm doing all these things, but I'm calm. My breathing is calm. I'm relaxed. I'm in my prefrontal cortex. I'm not in my limbic system. I'm not leaning into any feelings. She could be touching me up and stuff like that. I'm calm. I'll be serious. And as I said to you, what you're doing, you're casting a spell to the woman. This is, when you know how to do this thing correctly, the woman will be so compelled to trying to get you as excited and aroused as the other men she's dealt with. When you're really, really, really good at this stuff, she's going to whack it out her own self. That's when the woman herself will initiate and take it to sexual things, her own self, when you're not displaying arousal and excitement. Does that make sense, what I'm saying to you? I'm not saying that you're supposed to just always use this, her initiating, because there's many ways where you should initiate as a man, where you should take it there. Many, many ways you should take it there and you should initiate. But I'm saying if you want to be able to compel the woman, really, really seduce the woman, it all comes from the fact that you're not operating from a triggered state. She doesn't excite you, but she knows you're attracted to her, that you're playing with her. Does this make sense? Does you understand what I'm trying to say? You're not in your sympathetic nervous system is what I'm basically trying to say, fellas, all right? Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not too sure about how much information I should be divulging online, because I'm seeing people using my stuff, people with bigger platforms, and this is how, so I don't really know how much information I should be putting out on here for you. Maybe I should reserve it for the coaching, but we'll see. I am trying to show you guys the love you guys deserve, of course. Now, guys, please continue to like and support the page. Make sure you watch my video yesterday. It's a long one, but it's a deep one, right? Love you guys. Thank you for the support. We'll see you on the next one, my brothers.